Let me tell you about one lesson your parents probably never told you about. As children, we all have fabulous imaginations. We can conquer the world. We are indestructible. As a young boy, and as a young boy or young girl, your parents probably asked you as well. They said to me one day, "Rob, what would you like to be when you grow up?" And I thought about something I heard just a few days prior to that. A gentleman told me about an atomic drill that does wonderful things in the name of science. As I sat in the enormous chair with these bright lights on me, I thought, this is life. I can do this. I'd really like to do this. So I answered to my parents, yes, 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 I'd love to be a dentist when I grow up. Yet somewhere along the way, circumstances, even life itself, convinced me otherwise, and I never got started on my path to being a dentist. Age 24, I got my first job in Toronto, fresh out of Carleton University as a graduate in a Bachelor of Science program with my biology degree. I clearly remember my coworkers asking, "What are you going to do, Rob? Where do you want to be in 20 years?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to be retired by the time I'm 55, that's for sure." Well, 55 came and went for me 3 years ago, and I never really got started on my retirement plan. Fast forward to last Thursday night. No, I'm not retired. No, I didn't win the lottery. But I did get started. I started my new business, my new life, my new retirement plan. For the first time since my son was born, he and my wife and myself are now able to go on our very first flight to a vacation destination. And it's not just anywhere. It's to an exotic destination around the world every year for the rest of our lives that we enjoy each other together. All it took was a simple decision to get started. You see, at age 58, I've decided my time is now. Go time is now. It's time to get started, because I know only too well, according to publisher Frank Kiefer, it's later than you think. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, one of my favorite quotations is from former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Here's a man that aged 62 became Prime Minister of England, and his greatest accomplishments were done far later in life than that. Winston Churchill says, "A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty." That came to mind because a few weeks ago, I suddenly noticed a loud, high-pitched ringing noise in my ear. It was just one ear. You know, the kind of noise you typically hear after you come out of a very loud rock concert. Well, I had it going in one ear, so I had to have it checked out, eventually got to a specialist, and I was told, "Mr. Langley, you have a condition called tinnitus. It's something that the individual experiences, but there's no known physical reason for it. In other words, it's all in your head." Well, I know it's in my head, all right. I hear it 24/7. It's never gone away since it started. It's about as loud as a vacuum cleaner. And then asking the doctor, "Well, what do I have to do to get rid of that?" He looked me straight in the eye. He said, "Mr. Langley, there's no known cure for tinnitus. You just have to live with it for the rest of your life." Well, you can imagine, as I picked myself up off the floor that day, and for a few days thereafter, felt really sorry for myself, I started to do a little research. And yes, there's about 1% of our Canadian population that have tinnitus, about 360,000 people. So by extension, that means surely most, if not all, are living rewarding, productive lives. So there's no reason whatsoever for me not to. And I made a decision right then, right there, that I was going to get started. Because I consider tinnitus to be a gift. It's an opportunity for me to turn a difficulty into something really big. Now I'm thrilled at my biology degree that I've really not put into practice all that much for the past 35 years. Now it's exceptionally useful to me. I'm going to be digging way into biochemistry, cellular biology, genetics, inflammation, disease, nutrition, sports medicine, and more. Thanks to my decision to get started in my new business last week. As a member of the baby boomer generation, I could do what I've always wanted to do. I could go traveling with my family every year, thanks to my new business, thanks to my tinnitus. So you see, I've created opportunities from difficulties. There are indeed gifts to share that I must start right now. So everybody in the room tonight, you all have gifts to share with others. What gift do you have that you must start to share? Maybe it's a new job or a new career or a new business. Or perhaps something a little simpler like a nice hello to that man or woman that you've always wanted to talk to. Or maybe there's a mentor that you'd like to approach. Or perhaps a prospect in your business that you thought would be perfect for you. Well, now is the time. Or maybe thanking the veteran is the most appropriate thing to do. When's the last time you said, I love you, to your wife, to your husband, your son, your daughter? When's the last time you gave them 30 minutes of your undivided attention on the night before you're going to do your first ever keynote breakfast presentation? Or like me, you finally make the time to go on that vacation your family has so longingly waited for. Remember, you could do whatever you want, but first you have to get started. And as you plan your path, remember, if it sends shivers up and down your spine, if you just can't wait with anticipation, then you're onto the right thing. And if you might even go so far as to experience a little or a lot of fear that's stopping you from starting. Remember this. Fear is your green light to go. You're onto something big, something special. Just get started because it's later than you think. The one thing your parents probably never told you, get started now. It's later than you think. And it's taken me 58 years to learn this lesson, but I have no regrets. I'm simply a late blooming baby boomer. I can't wait to put more of these lessons into practice. It's going to be a fantastic ride. It already is. I urge you to do the same because it's later than you think. Madam Toastmaster.